Flagwave Studios, a Pat's Rocklight Productions presents by Conan Philosophies and Theories. Warning: some of these theories may not be fact-checked, or may be based on science fiction, unless otherwise posted, so some episodes may contain science and facts and total truths. Some may be made up, so viewer discretion is advised. By Conan Philosophies and Theories, Season 1, Episode 3, Part 7, A True Democracy. This series may be in several parts. Welcome to another episode of By Conan Philosophies and Theories, Season 1, Episode 3, Part 7, A True Democracy. Okay. In a true democracy, the military is controlled and given orders by the people, not for the government or political interests. If the military personnel do not like the operations or missions, they can find out more about it and inform the people. But most appeal to them. First, the anything militaristic like must follow the nation's rules and laws, with no exception, and that military personnel have same rights and form of command at different levels, just like the main government and any association, corporation, whatever have you. These are levels of any militaristic like organization. This example is Starship military, okay? This is, again, based off of Star Trek. The people can overthrow any command position at any level, as well as military personnel can also overthrow, elected every 4 to 5 years with up to 4 terms. Civilians cannot enlist in military, but must abide by the chain of command. That's actually wrong. You can join the military. But there's, obviously, it's basically the same. You can enlist just basically the same way. It's just a different command structure, basically, is what it's saying. Civilians that are not enlisted by the military must abide by the chain of command. Okay? If you're a civilian on a starship, you must go by command. You must report to whoever you got to report to, and then, if they don't listen to you, then you can then report to so and so, and on up and on up and on up. You must abide by the tiers of command. In this example is a starships of any spacecraft, including space stations, shipyards, still go to the same government starship like a city or town. Government space stations and shipyards are like states. Usually starships are only associated with the main space station, with smaller spaceships or starships being associated with the shipyards, even though they build larger starships as well. Being the main government on starships, they can't divide into districts. So your department, like your science department, your engineering department, your medical department, your security or tactical, or your command department is your district. okay, when you are on a starship. And the head of that department is your district leader. So on a starship, you do not have a district leader. You have a department leader, basically. That's ahead of your department. Even if you're civilian, if you're a civilian scientist aboard, let's say the Starship Zoo, you are to report to the science head department, okay? That is your district leader. Okay, examples are Starship Reserve Command. This is the temporary command in case that the command personnel are taken, killed, or overthrown by the people, either by the people of the nation or by the people of the starship. The chain of command follows like normal, but these are the different military levels of command, okay? This is the reserve command. Number 1, lieutenant, usually the main engineer, reserve head of command, leader of the vessel, usually 5th in command. I think that's what it means. Number 2, lieutenant junior grade, usually a low-level bridge senior officer, reserve 2nd in command, usually 7th in command, and is either a helmsman, navigator, comms, or ops, okay? Number 3, ensign, lowest level senior officer, usually a non-bridge officer, reserve 3rd in command, usually never in command, but is head of crew, morale, security, health, whatever have you, usually a nurse, a secretary guard, a head chief, or whatever have you. Okay? Number 4, Master Chief, highest junior officer rank, reserve 4th in command, usually is the main transport chief and organizes the crew. A member of the Diamond Guard, ensures that the command structure is obeying both the crew of the starship and the people of the nation. So make sure that the command structure is listening to both the crew and both the nation. Okay? Okay. Starship Command. This is the main command of a starship. Military organizations usually have a separate national government and still has to abide by the people of the nation. That means the military must always abide by the people of the nation at all times. Doesn't matter. Okay? This is an example. Captain. Main in command of a starship, unless otherwise authorized by the crew or by the people, or by higher command, takes control of vessel. Number 2, commander, second class, or commander. Either one is fine. So you can be a commander or commander second class, or I kind of like the commander junior class. Shown here, basically, captain is shown by 4 dots, just 4 dots. A commander can be represented by 3 single solid dots, or 3 solid dots, or by 3 solid dots and 1 not solid dot, okay? That is a commander second class, or a lieutenant captain. And he or she ensures the safety of the vessel that higher command is obeying the rules and laws of the nation and of the military. He or she is usually the tactical officer. Obviously, in the future, it might be different. We are saying they're the tactical officer. They could very well be the helmsman. doesn't really matter if they are commander or commander second class, and they are elected or chosen as the second in command. They are the second in command. Okay. Number 3, lieutenant commander. Third in command, main one in charge of the different divisions on the starship, usually the science officer or security officer. Yeah, he's the one that overlooks all the different departments. So he overlooks the science department. He overlooks the, all the departments of the starship. He's in charge of, basically. He reports it to the higher levels. He reports it to the captain, and then the captain makes the decision what to do, and then he relays it on down the line. Okay. Number 4, lieutenant. Fourth in command, usually head of crew tasks, ensures that the starship command is listening to the crew of the starship, and head of the senior officers union. Okay. Note, 6 district-like leaders needed for lower levels can be crewmen too. Okay. 6 district leaders needed for lower level can be for lower levels. Can be crewmen too. Okay. 6 district like leaders needed for lower levels. Can be crewmen too. So the district leaders can be crewmen too. Okay. Number 1 of this example, underneath the lieutenant, is command leader. Usually captain or anyone in command positions. This is very small. 15 persons on a starship. Okay. That is, these are the different, basically, divisions, or, on the starship. The first one is command, and underneath him, or underneath that, would be the command leader. And he's usually the captain, or anyone in command positions. This is a very small position. Usually there's only about 15 people aboard that are in the command, basically, division. So they are underneath the command leader, which is basically the district leader for that. Okay. Number 2 is engineering department leader. Anyone who is underneath the engineering division reports to the main engineer, or anyone that's the head of the engineering departments. Okay. Number 3 is the science department leader. Usually the main science officer or anyone in charge of the science departments. Number 4, medical leader. Usually the main doctor or anyone in the medical department that's in charge. This one may be smaller. That probably about 10 people. Number 5, security leader. Usually the head of security or anyone in charge of the security department. So if you're a security guard or a diamond guard on this starship, you report to the security leader or the security guard or the main security person, whoever's in charge of the security. Okay, and number 6, crewman leader. Usually the Master Chief or anyone who is an enlisted crewman who can be in any department. Okay. He or she specialized in, or non-enlisted crewmen or civilians, usually travelers or colony personnel, whatever have you. These personnel must wear a white uniform. Each command has a different color uniform. Command wears red. Engineering wears an orange. A science wears yellow. Medical wears green. Security wears blue. Crewmen or non-enlisted crewmen wear white. Okay. The next level then would be Starbase or Shipyard Command. Command of all Federation starships. And their main head of command would be number 1, Fleet Admiral. Head commander of the Federation fleet, usually head commander of Starfleet Command. Number 2, head admiral, second commander of the Federation fleet, usually head commander of the main starbase. Number 3, department admiral, third commander of the Federation fleet, usually head commander of a department of Starfleet, like head of command, engineering, science, medical, secretary, or civilian crewman specialist departments. So department admiral would mean that he is the department, like the head department admiral of like the science division, or of like the medical division, or like the security division of Starfleet. Okay. Number 4, fleet captain, fourth in command of the Federation fleet, usually has a Federation command vessel, travels from ship to ship, planet to planet, that are part of the Federation, of course. Protection, basically all around Federation territory, to make sure that the government is listening to the people, and he or she is usually a Diamond Guard member or main commander of Diamond Guard ships and personnel, and listens to starships, starbase, shipyards, and their unions. Okay. Next level would be Starfleet Command. Under United Federation of Planets, control all Federation and non-Federation vessels, stations, whatever have you. Okay, the first one is Director. Head of all vessels, shipyards, stations, satellites, anything space related. Number 2, Assistant Director. Assistant to the Director, head of all peaceful missions issued by the United Federation of Planets and its allies. Number 3, General, 3-star or above. Head of secret and battle missions issued by the United Federation of Planets and its allies, must be approved by the people of the nation and its allies. Number 4, Media Secretary, head of media personnel for the United Federation of Planets and its allies. And satellites and outlets, there is a small media fleet that is also under their command. Okay. And then the next level would be the United Federation of the Planet Earth, or the United Federation of Planets. Main government of the United Planet or planets in charge of Starfleet command must listen to the majority of the planets, and Starfleet elected every 4 years with 2 terms. This is only for Federation and Earth persons. Okay. Number 1, President. Head of the UFPE, government, and is the planet Earth, and of the planet Earth, must listen to the majority of the citizens of the UFPE. He is not the president, also the president of the planet Earth. The planet Earth is basically a separate entity. The United Earth government is underneath him, so, or he reports to them. So the United are under him, rather. So he has to listen to the planet Earth and all its peoples and everything. The governments of, the nations and everything else, or whatever have you, will report to, the Prime Minister of Earth, or whatever have you. And that person then tells the president, you better do this for the planet Earth. But then he must tell his, Secretary of Media, obviously his messenger, to go around and tell all the other member planets, this is what the planet Earth wants. And it's, basically, Mars and the Moon, or whatever have you. They want this. So their job is to go around and, let everybody know. And then they send their, prime ministers or whatever have you. And they say, yeah, we want the same thing. Yeah, we want the same thing. Yeah, we want the same thing. Then he says, okay, all the planets of all the United, all the planets of the United Federation of Planets and its allies have decided that they want this. So this goes on, and then it's passed automatically. Number 2, Vice President reports to Space Fleet Command of the planet or the nation. The Vice President reports to the lower levels that are underneath them. This is actually the highest level that you can possibly have. This would be, higher than even the national level if it goes that far. But this is just an example. Okay? I'm not saying that the military or regular military or naval have this. They might not have something like the United Federation planet. It may go well into the next one. So this is just an example of what it could be in the future. Number 3, Vice General, head of all the command of the UFPE, reports to SATA. Excuse me. Number 4, Secretary of the Media, main in charge of all the media outlets of the UFPE, reports to all media to the media associations. They report to basically all the medias of all the media associations of all the planets that are associated with the UFPE. Okay. Next level would be Space Fleet Command. Main command for United Fleets and individual vessels, stations, and civilian vessels, stations, anything space related. Number 1, Space Director. Main one in charge of any and all space related activities by the planet or a nation. They are basically the ones that oversee if, let's say, China says, we want to build our own separate starship. That's separate from the UFP, that's separate from everything. Well, then it's his job to say, okay, we approve it. But under certain conditions. Because obviously the people of the planet must then, choose, okay, we'll let, China go into space, but they can't have, warp capital, or they can't have phasers, or they can't have, this, or blah, blah, blah. There may be restrictions decided by the people of the planet, or whatever have you. So each planet will have its own space director that reports to the UFPE. Number 2 is Number 2 is Fleet and Vessel Director, one in charge of any and all vessels and fleets in space. Okay. Number 3, Station and Satellite Director, one in charge of any and all stations and satellites in space. Number 4, Message Director, one in charge of all communications to and from space, as well as media for this level. Oh, what do you know? We are on the last page. Okay. The next level would be SATA, which stands for the Space Administration and Temporal Association. The first person in charge of this would be the head director. Head of SATA reports to the Attorney General of the nation. Number 2 would be Space Fleet Director, head of Space Fleet Command. Number 3 would be Temporal Director, head of Temporal Fleet Command. And number 4 would be Media Secretary, gives all the media from all the associations of SATA to the nation. Okay. The United World. This is a possibility for the future after the true democracy that actually listens to the majority of their citizens. This can be an alliance with nations or a united planet under one government, but must be a true democracy or have a constitution of its own, separate from the nations of the world. So a united world must have its own form of a true democracy that listens to the majority of the people, and that is separate from the nations of the world. So it is actually above the nations of the world. The nations of the world obviously have say in it. Their peoples have say in it. But it's the majority of the planet as a unified world underneath the true democracy to create a unified world. This is the system of a true democracy, and has a constitution like a regular democracy that must listen to the majority of the people or be overthrown by the people. Because this is the number 1 amendment of a true democracy, a true democracy's constitution. This is to fight all corruption, greed, and those who thrive on power. This may be considered an anarchy, but this is an actual democracy of ancient Athens, Greece. It's based on the Greeks' democracy. It's not perfect yet. It's obviously, there still might be kinks in it. And it is also signed by me on 1/27/17. So this was basically the new form of government. There is an old form of government, basically, and it was shit. And it was basically yeah, this is basically the old way. Yeah, this is all old. Alright, well, that's all of that. Join us next time when we're going to actually talk about the flag and its meanings, as well as also all the other flags of the nation, as well as the quadrant flags, the anything to do with Noosa. We're just going to generally talk about it. We're not going to go over my notes, obviously, for obvious reasons. We want to make it shorter, and we want you to be able to pay attention. So always, together, we can change humankind and improve ourselves. Please like, questions, comments below. Thank you.